It's Thursday, January 11th, 2023. It's about 11:30 or noon. Sorry about the wind. It's about 62 degrees outside. It's going to get to 68 in the afternoon, according to the weather forecast. But I wanted to check in on the cows. As you can see, they're not eating, so they're full. They're just letting that grass and hay, mostly hay, digest in their tummies. Let the bacteria and stuff do the magic. Oh, that brings to mind a thought. Kind of a metaphysical. Oh my goodness, they ate a lot of protein. They really went to town on that. But if this is the rate they're going to eat it at, it looks like I can get a week probably out of the protein bucket. So metaphysical concept. So what is a thing? What constitutes, like, the bacteria in your stomach? Is that part of you, or is that not you? Is that something separate? Right? And metaphysically, does it matter how you define what's in what and stuff like that? Here's some of the beautiful ducks. Oh, by the way, one of the male ducks passed away. I think what happened was a cow stepped on his foot, and I think it broke, and ever since then he's been hobbling, and then we found his carcass. He died several days ago, so that's pretty sad, but you know, that's what happens. There's no way I would be able to fix his foot. And yeah, so here's the minerals if you guys want to look at it. So metaphysically, right, what is a body? What is a cow? What is a human? Does the bacteria count? And I think for a long time we had this idea, this like Platonic reality of what the ideal human should be. And one of the thoughts, this is my grandmother's generation, and to a lesser degree my mother's generation. One of the thoughts was that all of these bacteria and funguses and stuff like that are not part of your body. There's the water if you want to look at it. I apologize for the wind noise again. My mic is on the brink. I lost a part. Somewhere around here is the part. I probably could look around and see if I can find it. Very, very doubtful. But, you know, maybe I will. It's silver colored. It's about the size of my finger. Anyway, so, you know, Ray Archuleta was talking about how important the bacteria are. And I was thinking also from a health standpoint. Hey, how you doing? You're a good dog. I was also thinking from the health standpoint that we know all about how important it is to have good flora. They call it flora in your gut, in your stomach. And that digesting food is more than just putting hydrochloric acid and some enzymes in. The bacteria play an important role too. Oh gosh, I hope the audio isn't too bad on this. So I'll just kind of stand this way, kind of block the wind from the microphone, hopefully. Anyway, so I had the idea that maybe, just maybe, we should consider the bacteria part of who we are, right? Maybe, like, me includes, see, I give them fresh water and they decide to drink muddy water. Me includes the bacteria in my stomach, right? And in a larger sense, the food that I eat is considered part of my body too, right? So if I have a nice juicy steak and I chew on that steak and swallow, then that steak is now part of my body, right? This is Ship of Theseus type stuff. If you don't know about the Ship of Theseus, it's an old, there goes my ducks, flying back to the pond. Anyway, Ship of Theseus is a question that if there was a ship, like think of the old ships in the Greek era. So, and you know, as something breaks on the ship, you replace it. So you replace that board and this board, and you replace the mast, and you know, replace the sail, replace the rudder. Pretty soon, every part on that ship, after a certain amount of time has passed, has been replaced. And the question is, if you took all the bits that you took off the ship and you reassembled it into the shape of the Ship of Theseus, all those broken parts, which would be the real Ship of Theseus? The one that's made of the broken parts, or the one that you can trace the provenance from when it was created until now, and you can document all the little changes that happened to it, right? The thing about that little paradox or logical puzzle is that there really isn't a right answer. It really depends on how you define stuff. And one of the ways that I'd like to solve it is to think of the Ship of Theseus as not a real thing. It's a name that's applied to something. And as time passes, that name changes what it applies to. So the Ship of Theseus, that was when it was first constructed, was all those parts that were brand new when they were put together, more or less. And then when you replaced a part, you changed the definition of Ship of Theseus to include the new ship that had the part replaced, but disclude the part that was removed, right? So if I took a board from the Ship of Theseus and I pointed to that and said, that's part of Ship of Theseus, that's not correct. I can say that was part, at one time that was a part of Ship of Theseus, but it's not now. Okay, so anyway, so am I, if I eat and poop and stuff like that, is my defecation, is that considered part of my body? The answer is no, obviously, right? We don't look at somebody's poop and say, oh, that's Henry, that's part of Henry. We don't do that. So the steak, when I eat the steak, it becomes part of my body. The bacteria is part of my body. The things living on my skin, the tiny microscopic things that are crawling on your skin are part of you. Your whole actually includes much more than, the cells that have the genetic material that has your DNA in it. It includes much more. And, the way the ancients spoke, they even considered their children to be part of themselves, to be like a part of their body. And I know in ancient Korean times, that they would not cut their hair because that would be the same as cutting their parents' hair. It was a sacred gift their parents gave them. It's part of the parents, right? And so kind of a sign of filial piety, loyalty or reverence to their family and their parents. They wouldn't cut their hair in ancient Korean times. So anyway, the point is this, is that steak is part of me right now. Let's play a little more games here. So that steak on the plate before I eat it, is that part of me? The answer is no, but will it be? Yes, if I eat it, yes, it will be. And so I look at the steak and I say, that's future me. That's part of future me, right? You see where I'm going with this? Now I'm looking at a cow, right? If I harvest that cow, I'm not going to harvest this cow. It's a heifer. I want a calf out of her. But if I harvest this cow and cut her up and make a steak and fry it up and put it on a plate, can you consider this cow as part of me? Well, absolutely part of my future me. This is part of my biology. It's part of my ecosystem, you might say, right? Things like that. I have to get that green stuff out of there. Sometimes there's a little bit that lags behind. I have to pull out. Anyway, so then let's go one step further. So this cow is going to have a calf, hopefully in March, beautiful, beautiful bull calf. And then I'm going to say, wow, that bull calf looks super tasty. I'm going to keep that bull calf for myself. I'm going to raise him to weight. I'm going to slaughter him and eat him, right? So is that cow that I don't eat part of me because of the calf that I do eat? And I think the answer is yes, it's part of my future me. And so you can see where that's going. Right now, look at this cow is eating hay, right? And is that hay part of my future me? The answer is yes. Yes, and the hay and the soil and the mycorrhizal fungi that they like to say, that fancy word that means the fungus that's growing in the soil, the bacteria, the air, the rain, the sunlight, everything will one day be a part of me, right? And so if I want to be healthy, if I want to live a long, happy life, right? I often told my dad before he passed, I said, Dad, you don't get to choose when you die. That's in God's hands. But you do choose how to live, right? And that's why we want to live healthy, is not because we want to live longer, but because we want the years that God does give us to be happy and to enjoy them, right? Health is better than sickness, that kind of stuff, right? So the long and the short of it is that my happiness, my well-being depends not just on the food that I eat, but where that food comes from, right? And so when I try to build up the mycorrhizal fungi in the soil, when I try to replenish the nutrients in the food that the cows eat, when I try to regenerate the soil, that's a term I like nowadays, regenerate the soil, right? Make it productive like it used to be. And one day we'll talk about maybe super productivity, right? How to make soil more like the Garden of Eden than like what it is now, right? And so what I'm really doing here is for my health. And if you buy my meat, it's for your health. And in a way, this meat, if I sell it and people eat it and they're participating in society, this meat will be part of a greater us, a greater whole, a society, an organism that you can consider society as an organism. Like, we're just little cells doing the best that we know how with what we have, right? We're just little cells in this vast organism, right? Didn't Jesus, when he talked about, Paul, when he talks about the church, he says, Christ is the head, but you are the members, right? Not everybody's the same. We don't need more than two hands, right? We don't need everybody to be necks and shoulders and toes, but everybody has a role to play. And we're all part of this huge system that we can't understand. It's too complex, right? We cannot write down a formula. We cannot say with definitiveness whether or not something's true. One of the things that I wanted to mention also, something I was thinking about, kind of a shower thought, is Gabe Brown, right? Ray Arculetto. One of the reasons why, I like these guys. I think they're really smart and they know a lot of stuff, but they just don't ring with me. They don't really resonate with me. And one of the reasons why is I realized that Gabe Brown and Ray Arculetto and those people, they are more of the artistic, right side brain, creative types, right? I'm more of the analytic, logical types, right? I'm posting posts along the fence line using Google Earth to get it within 10 feet, that's something that Ray Arculetto probably would never even do. He'd probably say, yeah, you go ahead and do that. That's not something that interests me. Gabe Brown is the same way. Greg Judy, to a lesser degree, is very artistic. He says that we use cows, and he really doesn't follow a set schedule. He just kind of plays it by ear. He says, where's the grass right now? Where are my cows and where do I want them to be? And he thinks about the future and stuff. Sorry about the wind noise. But this is a whole brain activity. There's logic involved and there's art. There's things that like we can't understand that we have to figure out. So you can see how the wind is blowing. It's definitely blowing kind of strong now. All right, guys, have a great day. Just a thought that I had. Take care. Bye-bye.